If you've been in the church for any length of time, you've probably joined a small group. But many churches do small groups in many different ways. So why does Rock Hill do it the way that we do? What makes a city group a city group? This is the first of 3 videos designed to cover the 3 core rhythms of city groups: family night, mission time, and DNA groups. Now, family night is kind of the bread and butter of city groups. It's what most people think of when they think of small groups. But what is family night meant to be? And what are we supposed to do at family night? Those are the questions that I want to answer in this video. And I also want to give you some practical tips to make your family nights edifying and encouraging and effective. So what is family night meant to be? The short answer is life in community. At Rock Hill, we believe that life with Jesus is better together. And so city groups are a place where you can be in a community that feels like family. But here's the longer answer. Family night is a time where we gather to live life together, study God's word, break bread together, pray together, and strive to be a warm and welcoming community that reflects the love of God to the world. And we read that and go, sounds idyllic, right? Just like the church described at the end of Acts 2, the perfect Christian community. And then maybe your mind went to an actual recent family night in your city group where there were kids running around and it's chaos, or it's really awkward because you have a lot of quiet people there and you're just thinking, my family is dysfunctional. But when the biblical authors used the image of the church as a family, they were under no illusions that families are perfect pictures of peace and calm. Rather, families are just the context in which we live life, whatever life may bring. When we are up, when we're down, our families are meant to be there. This is the major difference between Bible studies and city groups. So Bible studies are aimed primarily toward education with a little bit of community thrown in there. You're there to be with other people, but you're mainly there to learn. But city groups are aimed primarily toward community with a little bit of education or learning thrown in there. Both are valuable, but they have different goals. So personally, I consider family night a success when everybody in the group leaves having this sense of, I have brothers and sisters who care about me. And if we get to have a meaningful discussion thrown in there too, then that's just icing on the cake. So it might be helpful for you as a leader to keep in mind that from this definition of family night, the goal is the second part. We want to be a warm and welcoming community. In other words, family night is for reinforcing the reality that the church is a family. And then the first part of that definition, the studying and living life together and praying and all that, those are the means or activities that help a city group grow together in community. But they're not the only things that can help. So let's take a look now at what to do at family night. What does your family do on a weeknight? Let's say a weeknight where everybody's in a good mood and nobody's fighting. Well, it's like Julia Roberts would say, you eat, pray, love. You eat a meal, maybe have some snacks. You sit and chat and talk about your lives or the latest Marvel movie. Maybe you have a more serious discussion about something going on in each other's lives. You make fun of each other. You laugh. You pray. You play games. You go to bed feeling safe and loved and cared for. City groups are a family. So our gathering should look something like this, but modified for what the church family is called to be in the scriptures. And as a city group leader, you have total flexibility in what to do and how these elements will fit together on a family night. So if you've been leading a group for a while and things are just feeling a little stale, try changing it up. Talk to your city group about what they would like to do. Let me give you 4 example models to give you an idea of what your family night might look like, with the accompanying nicknames, of course. First, we have the Old Faithful. Now, this is the schedule that has consistently worked best for me in the past. You start off with a decent chunk of time just snacking and chatting. Throw a good icebreaker question in there to get things rolling with a soft start. When it's time, pull everybody in for a time of discussion. And then you end with a share and prayer time, and I'll have more on that later on in the video. Then close off with some fellowship time. Simple and efficient. If you're new to leading a city group, I would start here. Next, the breakfast club. Or I should say the breakfast for dinner club, because I'm talking about having a meal to kick off your family night. Now, if everyone contributes and the cleanup is easy, then eating dinner together can foster community and fellowship like nothing else. Having a meal will add extra time to your gatherings, though, so keep that in mind. You don't want people dreading family night because it means an extra 2 to 3 hours every week, even with people that you like. If meals are too burdensome, then opt in for a cheap and consistent easy snack, something like popcorn or chips and salsa. I often tell my group members, hey, just bring whatever is in your pantry. Half a bag of carrots and some leftover brownies, hey, that's a city group feast right there. Next, we have the breakup. In my previous small group, we would have this running joke, okay, it's time to break up, guys and girls. And Melissa and I would say, no, we don't want to break up. The breakup is where you combine family night and DNA groups. So you split toward the end of the gathering for 30 to 45 minutes to talk with just guys and just girls. And the advantage of this model is that you can do everything all in one night. You can have the whole family together, and then you can get some time to be vulnerable and close with just your sisters and your brothers. Finally, the Televangelist. I'll be honest, I couldn't think of a better name for this one. But it doesn't have anything to do with the prosperity gospel. Sometimes your group needs a break from rigorous discussion, but you still want to learn something. And that's where watching a Bible study or a lesson can fill that need. Let's say you use a resource from Right Now Media, or you watch a video from the Bible Project. In this model, you use about half of your discussion time to watch the lesson, and then you spend the rest of the time talking about it. One huge advantage of this model is that it is very newcomer friendly. Everything you're discussing is experienced all in that night, so it requires very little prep, either from you, the leader, or from the group members. Again, these are supposed to be flexible routines, not rigid schedules. Try things out, shake it up, talk with your group and figure out what works best for you guys. To wrap up this topic, I want to share just a few practical tips on how to make these times better for your city groups. First, don't feel the need to rush into discussion. Newer city group leaders sometimes make the mistake of viewing discussion as the only ultimate goal of family night, which means that they downplay the other elements that actually form community, like small talk, icebreakers, catching up on life. The best context for a good discussion is a group that knows and trusts each other. So while you will need to keep things moving, keep everybody on track, stop watching the clock and just rein it in when it seems like the time is right. Second, combine share and prayer times. Now, in my experience, small groups tend to lean either towards sharing about their lives or praying about their lives. So on the one extreme, the group shares everything that's going on, but they never actually get to praying, which means that they're not approaching the throne of grace together to talk to God about each other's lives. And on the other extreme, everybody in the group goes around and says a brief prayer request, and then you move to this sort of rote, dry prayer so that you can check it off the list. But then you don't actually get community because you don't get more than those bullet point prayer requests. I've found a happy medium by having a template for share and prayer time. For example, everyone shares the high of their week and then the low of their week. Or everyone shares what they're celebrating and what's causing them stress. And then you move to a time of prayer, either structured, pray for the person on your left, or more extemporaneous, I'll close, pray if you feel led. Finally, newcomers are visiting the family. There's sometimes a tension between mission and community. Like we need these hard lines between now is the time we talk to non-believers and now is the time we talk to Christians. I would say that dedicated times of mission are important, as are dedicated DNA groups with other believers, and we'll talk about those rhythms in the next videos. But family nights are a both-and time. Think of it like inviting somebody over for dinner with your family. You would give them extra attention, you'd explain some things that are unique to just your family, but you would also let them experience the crazy mess of your little community and give them a glimpse of what it's like to be in your family. That's an overview of the first rhythm of city groups. As you reflect on this video, take a moment to jot down your thoughts and answer this question. Are there any changes that I would like to make to the way that my city group does family night? Till next time.